All right. Ariela, we're live.
Great.
All right. Now, I will tell you, hey, everyone, welcome, welcome. I'm sorry about being late today. I was having a little problem with the coding on the streaming service, which is a back of the house, the technical difficulty. No one needs to worry about that. The important part is we are here and we are with you today, Monday, April 12th. Yes. How's it going, everyone out there? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Ariella, say hi to all the wonderful people.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday.
Yes, 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 yes. So we are thankful that you are with us today. And thank you for our 14 likes so far. That is wonderful. Let me, before we get started, as always, I like to say to the people, use this as your opportunity to network with other folks in the room. So right now there's 17 of us watching. We're probably going to get up to about 75 people in a little bit. And so definitely let us know first and foremost who you are, who's out there. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us what industry you're in, where you're from, like what city you're at, and also anything else that you'd like for us to know and that you'd like to share with us. So again, please let us know who you are. I could see your names, but tell us about your industry and also what city you're in. Um, Other things that we will be discussing today, besides lien rights, I would love if Ariella would share her story with us. She has an incredible journey that I tried to tell her, don't tell me all of it, save some of it for when we go live. So we've done that. Um, but listen, she's a little bit nervous, so make her feel welcome, guys. Make her feel welcome. Put a little character in the thing, drop it in there, drop a little hug, a happy face, drop a smile for her, and make her feel welcome. Embrace her to our Mastermind Monday sessions here today. So I'm in Palm Beach, Florida. Jesse Forte, city, and also what is it you do, your industry, so that we know. All right. Let's see who's out there. Eric, can Ariel, can you see the comments and everything?
I
Yes.
am looking at those right now.
All right, good stuff. Uh, any other women entrepreneurs, women business owners out there? Let us know. She's got a story that wants to be shared. Hold on, let me see what we have out here. I see Charles, Ryan, Maria, Amster. Let's see who else. Quentin Swift. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who else? Isaiah, Mark B. My man Jesse Forte. All right. Glad to have you here. All right. Maria says, "Hola, Ariella."
Hola.
Right, Amstar put some shades on. There's, by the way, just so you know, there is a lag. So they don't always see our messages. Like they don't hear us right away. It's like a little lag. So,
Okay.
all right. Look at that. See?
I feel the love. I feel
Oh,
the
thank you.
love. So
Oh,
it's good. I'm
it's
feeling good.
good. It's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Georgia's watching. Oh, nice. Brian, you got Georgia watching today. What's up, Mark? By the way, interesting enough, on that video that I just released on bid opportunities, if you did not stay till the end, you missed out on a surprise that I had for you. So on my last video that I just released yesterday, Sunday Fun Day video, there was a surprise at the end for those people who missed it. And those people who did get it to the end, did anyone that made it to the end of that video receive their surprise? Anyone? Let me know. Oh, sweet. Another moderator just handled it. Good. Thanks, Maria, for being a moderator. All right. So, Ariella, while the people are in there and they're chatting and they're talking, tell us a little bit about yourself so that the people can get to know you first and like you and love you because you're so wonderful.
That's very sweet. So, first of all, thank you so much for giving me and Sunray this wonderful opportunity to speak on your program. I have owned a notice to owner service for 15 years. I can't believe where the time goes. It just, you blink and poof, 15 years just fly by. So I own Sunray Construction Solutions, I'm founder of the company.
Mhm.
I started the company on my credit card.
Mm.
and lots of money. Unfortunately, at the time, I was in debt, working another job. I was 26 years old and had a few less grays then. Um, but it was an incredible journey. It's actually one of the things my father said to me before I started a business: enjoy the journey. Don't look at always going to the next level and the next level and the next level. So I can honestly say there have been trials and tribulations that have been beyond painful emotionally,
Mhm.
which probably took a toll on me physically as well. But that is what starting a business and making mistakes, which mistakes are a good thing.
Mhm.
I love the Chinese proverb: fall, fall 7 times, get up 8.
Mm.
So I can tell you that it's not about worrying about your failures. You fail, you get back up, and you keep going. But now we have a national online construction document service, and we help thousands of general contractors, subcontractors, subcontractors, suppliers throughout the United States secure their lien and bond claim rights.
Wow.
And it's really I really love what I do. I feel very blessed.
How did you get into this business?
I was introduced to this business model many years ago. I thought it was incredibly interesting. I studied it
Okay.
and I said, you know what? This is something that I would love to get into. And never did I think we would be national. So what
Right.
happened is, all I know is hard work. I don't know anything but hard work. So in
Mm.
2008, customers would say, "Hey, Ariela, are you in Georgia by any chance? Hey, Ariela, are you in North Carolina?" And I kept saying, no, 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 no. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm going to know myself out of a job.
Mhm.
So I would tell some of these customers, would you be willing to work with me as I expand?
Okay.
And that's what happened. We went from state to state to state and became national.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. And you said you started on your credit card
Yes.
and now you have 30 people working for you.
Yes.
Incredible. Um, I like what your dad said, which is enjoy the journey. How do you feel about that now?
I think that some of the trials and tribulations that I experienced were really, really challenging.
Right.
Litigation. But this may sound absurd, but I'm very, very grateful for those horrible, egregious, abominable, despicable, use a negative adjective to describe how bad it was, but it was equally as amazing and sensational and wonderful, because if I didn't have all those experiences, I wouldn't know what I know now. And
Mm.
I'm not a big fan of theory. I like the actual real life experience.
Yeah.
You
Right.
don't know until you're in it,
Right.
how challenging things are going to be, nor the possible I would say the mistakes that really happen. They don't write that in business books.
Mhm.
Or they do. There's use cases, but they don't tell you how you're going to have that in your
Sure.
your
Right. Right. How it's
particular
going to affect you. Right. In
situation.
your particular scenario. Right.
Yes.
No, that's true. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I tell you what, let's jump into the subject at hand because I see some
Okay.
questions, and then we'll come back around to touch more on your story. I'm sure as the people have questions about the topic. So today we're discussing lane rights. Someone asked the question, "What's a notice to owner?" And so we're going to cover all of that and more. Ariel has a small presentation we're going to go through. And then we'll go from there. We'll take questions as always. Hey, listen, like if you have any questions for her, she did say to me beforehand that there's no question off limit. So I don't know how she feels about that right now, but I'm putting her on the spot.
I really believe that there's really no question that is ever off limit. If you have a question, whether it's about being a business, whatever it may be, it's not off limit. So
And
feel
you
free
also
to
said something
ask.
about business hazing. I've never
Oh,
heard that
yeah.
term used before.
Well, you know what, and then we'll go right into this
Uh-huh.
educational
Sure.
PowerPoint.
By the
Well,
way, Ariela, this is my
yes.
gig. We can do whatever we want.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay,
Sounds
we
good.
can jam out however we like. Okay,
Okay.
this
That's
is my gig.
okay.
So, all right.
Awesome. So, in university, in order to become part of a sorority or a fraternity, they have this actually horrible, whoever invented that, I actually need to research that, and of hazing. And I
Right.
think that I went through in business, my period of my hazing was between the ages of 30 and 36.
Mm.
6 years of just one big nightmare. So that was my form of hazing. And I think what's important, the point that needs to be learned was and is, it's okay. Like I said before, it's okay to have these, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down. It's not okay to not get back up. That is what it's all about.
Man, let me tell you, and I believe that. As you know, we shared some stories offline, but I think for a lot of people out there, it's really hard for them to wrestle with that fact in their head. I think it's really difficult. Um, and so we share this and we tell people that stories, but I think it's still a lot of times it's still hard for folks to see it. But I think again, listening to more stories like the ones that you're going to tell tonight, my story, Maria, and other people out there, I think many more people will be encouraged. So,
Great.
all right, let's go.
So
You can
would you
share.
like me to show the
Yeah,
presentation?
please.
Okay,
That'd
great.
be great.
Okay.
Mm, 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 mm.
Okay, there we go. Let's start it from scratch. So here we go.
Beautiful.
So today we are going to have hopefully also a very brief learning session on notice to owners, liens and bond claims. So of course, I want to give a little disclaimer. The legal information in the webinar is not the same as legal advice. We are not attorneys or a law firm. The application of law to an individual's specific circumstances. Although we go to great lengths to make sure our information is accurate and useful, we recommend that you consult a lawyer if you want professional assurance that our information and your interpretation of it is appropriate to your particular situation. I kind of wish we had music with that, so that wasn't
Right?
boring.
Yeah.
Or
I could have
I
been
could
like
read
beatboxing in the
like
background with you if you
the
if you told me.
cartoon,
Yeah.
with that toy car.
Right.
Okay. So, so why notices, liens and bonds? So this is really important for everyone. Why sending a notice to owner is important, and I'm going to get into the actual deadlines in a little bit. So sending a notice to owner is so important because the owner, and actually I would like to say, actually stop for a moment because I realize that you have a lot of people who might be hearing this and are not from the state of Florida, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So
We're all over.
yeah, so this is specific to the state of Florida.
Okay.
However, on our website at sunraynotice.com, you can find your particular state's rules, and each state has a different rule when it comes to their private and public jobs, not for their
Okay.
federal jobs, which we'll get into this webinar. So why sending a notice to owner is important. Owner pays the GC, but the GC does not pay you. The owner does not pay the GC, who then cannot pay you. The person who hires you claims that they are the owner, but they're actually the tenant of the property. It lets your customers know that you are serious about getting paid on your terms and not their terms. And it informs all the parties that are involved that you are working on the project. And I think one of the most important things that the notice does for everyone, general contractors, sub-suppliers. In the event that you are not paid, liening a property secures your equity interest in that property. So a lot of people on the call, you might be general contractors, you might be subcontractors or even suppliers. You really want to know where you are in the food chain of payment. A lot of people go, oh, I'm a sub, I know who the GC is. Or I'm a sub of a sub, I'm working for this really great subcontractor. Remember that money trickles downward. So you really want to know who's upward, who's paying you, other than the person you have a contract with. So I'm going to skip a little bit of that because I want to get into the little bit more of the federal project. So what is a notice to owner? I believe someone asked that in the question. A notice to owner in the state of Florida secures your lien and or bond claim rights and must be sent within a specified period of time. You have only 40 days from a notice to owner must be received by the 45th day from first furnishing, unless it's specially fabricated material. So what's best business practices is to send your notices to owners as soon as possible, but either you could use a service like Sunray. We go to the post office every single day and we send the notices no matter what by the 40th day from first furnishing labor and material, because we keep a US manifest that's stamped. And if the owner of the property and other required recipients do not receive it by the 45th day, you're still golden because the notice was sent, it's considered served at that point.
Okay, let me stop you and let's talk about this in layman's terms. So,
sure.
I have a construction project that I'm going to begin work on. Do I call you first? Do I call the owner first? Who do I call first in this process?
Okay, so the first question I would ask
So I have
you
a contract and they're going to tell me, hey, Eric, here's your contract to start work. You know, what do I do? How do I secure my rights?
Okay, very good. Do you have a written contract?
I do have a written contract, yes.
Okay, great. And are you a subcontractor or a general contractor?
I'm the subcontractor, yes. There's a general contractor that hired me. I'm doing the electrical work.
Okay, great. So if we know that you're the subcontractor, what you would do is you would create an account. Okay.
Okay.
Then what you would do is it takes no more than 5 minutes to enter. Really, it should take you no more than 60 seconds to enter the information in.
Okay.
But if you're brand new to this and it's your first time, you're going to enter in some very basic information, which is like your first day on the job, your job address. You could put an estimated last day on the job.
Okay.
You not required. You'll definitely put who the general contractor is. If you're a sub to the general contractor, remember we spoke very briefly about that food chain. That food chain's really, really important. So if you were an electrical sub to hypothetically, it happens, we'll just say he was the electrical GC on the project, and there was another GC above him.
Right.
So what you would do is you would want to find everyone upstream.
Okay.
Sunray does assist people with researching. So we do assist in finding out who's who on the food chain. But you go in, enter your request, first day, approximate amount on the project, job address, who you were working for, materials and materials and a basic description. Click submit, you're done.
Okay. Okay.
That's it.
All right.
So on private projects, who needs to send one? Subcontract, just a regular sub, anyone who does not have a direct contract with the owner of the project. Now, public projects, we could split those into federal and then state, city, county, two totally different ones. For state, city, county projects, every state has a different requirement.
Sure.
So you can go again on our website and that they will, just put in whatever state and it will give you the information. But let's talk about federal projects, because I know that a lot of people who are listening are here to hear about federal work. So the most important thing is there's 2 points, right? Getting the job and then, of course, getting paid for the job.
Absolutely.
The first question that we need to ask if we are not the general contractor, if we're the subcontractor, is pardon me, if the project is over $100,000,
Right.
the project must be bonded.
Okay.
Full stop.
Okay.
So if the project is over 100,000, it's bonded. It's a
Right.
requirement.
Sure.
But if not, then you might have to find a different route of payment. That different route of payment could be a joint check agreement.
Mm.
So you may want to consider your other options. But that's for your federal projects. And I think it's important also to note that subs of subs and suppliers to the GC and suppliers to a sub have lien rights. But a sub, suppliers to suppliers, and
Uh-huh.
suppliers to subs do not have lien rights. I know
So,
that's a mouthful. That's why I even wrote it down.
um, I always, what about, I always say third tier.
Third tier. And then some people go, well, I don't know if I'm third tier.
Right. Right. They don't know
But
if they're third tier.
it's that simple.
Yeah. I always say third tier.
Okay.
So I tell my people, don't be third tier subcontractor on any projects.
Not on a federal
I
project.
tell them all the time, don't be third tier. All right,
No.
okay. Look at, by the way, again, guys, if you're watching this and you have questions, please drop it in the chat. Let me know. So I definitely, we are welcome any questions that you have about this. Stop us at any point. I saw Brian ask about what is furnishing. I think she cleared that up. So, okay, continue. So now on the state projects and the city projects, you could do a notice to owner.
Absolutely. It's actually called a notice to owner. And then there's
Right.
a little line and it will say notice to contractor. So in many states like California, Texas, Florida, there are requirements to sending a preliminary notice. And the preliminary notice is sent before, or not before, but it's sent at a specific time when you first start either specially fabricated material or you start working on the project. It must be sent in that time frame. So each state has its own unique set of rules.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
That's for
That's
state, county, city,
mhm.
but federal. If
No.
every, I like to give the analogy to other people, like if they're trying to understand, state jobs versus federal jobs. And maybe this is a terrible one. I'm live and I'm giving a terrible example in front of your audience. So you could completely say, Ariela, no, I don't like that one. That's fine. I'll go back to the drawing
No,
board.
go ahead. Tell me.
But when you think of state versus federal,
Uh-huh.
when people are like, well, you think of the movies and they go, no, this is the feds. This is our, this is our, I'm going to, never mind. I wish to delete it.
Go
I
ahead.
was trying to give the good example, but it's not even necessary.
It's not necessary. They know what federal and state is. They know the
Okay.
differences. I teach them all the time. And the reason why is because for us, for federal, there's really two sets of rules, and one set of rules applies to like 90% of the agencies, and then the other set applies to like 10%. So that's why I teach federal, because I can teach one set of rules. Unfortunately, like you're saying, hey, each state is different, each city is different, which is why I find myself not teaching state contracting and local contracting, because the rules all change, right? And so how they buy changes, who they buy from changes, their priority changes. But this is helpful to me because the reason why I don't like state and local is because of the payment issue. So that's why I have you on, because my apprehension with my students and everyone that I talk to is getting paid. So again, because we have, even with Miami-Dade County, sometimes they pay my friends in 6 months and 8 months it takes to get paid Miami-Dade County.
It happens. And it's a very, very difficult process because it's the general contractors. They obviously have their subs and their suppliers. Cash flow is a major issue,
Right.
and that's why a lot of people will not touch public projects. But I want to make sure that we're clear on this. Every state, if we categorize it public and then federal,
Sure.
If you're in a state, it doesn't matter if it's city, county, or state work,
Hmm.
it's going to be the same form. It's going to be
Okay.
the same rules.
Gotcha.
Federal on the other side, obviously federal is the same
No, it was
throughout the United
throughout
States.
federal. Yeah. So this process is the same in this throughout the state, whatever state you're in.
Yes.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good to that actually I think should be helpful for a lot of people listening at this, because then they only have to learn the rules of their particular state or
Absolutely.
the states, or excuse me, the states that you're operating in. How about that? Just to be more specific.
And it should be memorized. It's not something, it's probably three
Ooh.
simple dates: your preliminary notice, your
Okay.
or claim on bond, and when you need to file suit on that bond. Those
Ah.
are the three takeaways that if if I'm teaching the course and that's it, those three.
You know what, I love what you just said, and I think that's important for everyone out here listening. She said they should be memorized. Now, let me ask you, does this also apply? So we're talking about construction, but what about if I provide like janitorial services?
Making an improvement to a property. I can't speak. I'd rather have an attorney answer the question on
Okay.
federal projects.
No, not federal, not federal. I'm saying if I was doing a different janitorial, like a different kind of service. If I was cleaning someone's in a private sector, if I was cleaning a commercial building.
They could still send a notice to owner. They're making an
Okay.
improvement to the property.
Okay. Okay. All right. Continue. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. So it says here, what is a claim of lien?
Right.
It's, if we're going to go live, then I'm going to have to do one thing. I have a terrier that is like a terror, and he keeps scratching on the door, and I'm losing my
train of
ability to, yes, because he just keeps scratching on that door. So my apologies.
Oh, that's okay.
So what is a claim of lien? So this is on private projects. So if you have 90 days in the state of Florida, and as I said before about other states, each state has a different time requirement. So you have 90 days in the state of Florida to lien a project. On private project, who needs to record one? If you are not paid, you have only 90 days from the last day you're on the property, the GC, the sub, the supplier, as long as you have sent your required preliminary notices, then you can record your lien. And then we have public projects. You cannot lien any public projects in the United States of America. We have the government has what's called sovereign immunity, which means they're the king. You can't take away their property if you lien it and foreclose on it. So hypothetically, think of it as what's a good example? An Air Force base.
Right. Sure.
Or a hospital, a VA hospital.
Right.
The reason why they have the bonds, why do they even have a bond? What's the purpose of a bond? It's so that people can get paid through the bond.
Right.
That's where it's just reversed, where the lien is for the equity interest in the house. You're foreclosing on a property. You can't foreclose on the VA hospital and say, now I own the hospital. That's why there's the bonds. Okay. And we went into the 90 days. Last day of work is not your punch list. So if you're on a project, you have in the state of Florida, again, only 90 days from the last day you're on the project. And then in most states, it's called a claim on bond. In Tennessee, their preliminary notice is actually called a notice of non-payment. So even the state has a different document name. It can be very confusing. So again, this is specific to Florida. A notice of non-payment is a claim against the bond. Private projects, who needs to send one? If you do not have a direct contract with the general contractor, you should be sending on public projects a notice to owner / notice to contractor. It needs to be sent, once again, you should really send them no matter what, as soon as you start the project. But again, you send your notice to owner, and then your claim on bond is 90 days from the last day you furnished labor and or material to the project. And who needs to send one? that is, again, if you do not have a direct contract with the general contractor, you're not required. In order to have bond claim rights, you must send this notice to owner. And what isn't last work? It's really what is really when you last made an improvement to the property. So
can you say that again? If you do not have the direct contract with the general contractor, you have to send that in order to ensure payment.
Right. So the general contractor knows that you're working for him.
Yes.
Okay. On bonded projects.
Right. Correct.
You don't need to send a notice.
The general contractor hired me, so he knows I'm working for him.
Exactly.
But the guy I hired, he doesn't know him.
Correct.
All right. Does everyone get that out there listening? You guys following? Yeah. So since I'm working directly with the general contractor, it's obvious if that relationship exists. But the people who I hire below me, he doesn't know them.
Correct.
Okay. So that if you're that person below me, then you have to let him know that you have a relationship with us.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, it's a kind of an interesting thing. To us, we're in the industry. Or I this is something I do every day. It's very logical, but there's not a lot of logic to it. If you speak with even a homeowner or even someone in commercial buildings that need, like we were discussing one of the first slides, tenant improvements to every single unit.
Right.
Who you send the notices to, even though it's called a notice to owner, it really is a misnomer. Because it's going to so many other people than just the owner of the property.
Sure.
So let's see. So just some points here, putting it all together. Really, within 45 days of your first work, you should be sending your NTO. Okay. And for those who are watching this, again, go to our website, www.sunraynotice.com, and you'll see in your specific state, if your state requires a preliminary notice. 90 days from your last day of work to send your claim on bonds and your notice of non-payments. And within 15 days, serve the lien of all interested parties. That's when you record your lien. If in privity with the owner, you serve a contractor's final affidavit at least 5 days before the lawsuit to foreclose on the lien. And then file your suit on the lien within 1 year from the recording of the date of the lien. And then this is a very important one for your listeners, or file a suit on the bond claim within 1 year from your last date of work. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I'll just quickly run through these slides. These are just our actual application. If you do them online, if you do send your requests online, we have a very intelligent dashboard. It memorizes, and of course, I think it's an anthropomorphic figure. It memorizes. It's created. It's software. It doesn't memorize anything. It's data, but it's an incredible system. If you do send a preliminary notice, it will, and it's a public project, it will tell you your deadline of when you're supposed to file when you're supposed to serve your claim on bonds. If it's a private project, it will tell you when you need to do your liens, in some states, there is even what's called an intent to lien before you lien a project, not a demand letter. And that's what that dashboard is. Custom reports. Our system allows you to do free waivers and releases, which is it could be a nightmare if you don't have that. We have an incredibly robust API, and an API is just an application interface. So for larger companies, suppliers, or companies that do over 50 notices a month that have an IT service, it's like basically a bridge. Their system speaks to our system, and our system speaks to theirs, and there's no data entry. There's an audience in my office too.
That's okay.
Dog, so I'm so sorry.
No worries. It's okay.
He might have an appearance on your show.
No, that's okay. We're fine with it.
Our customers have the ability, if they don't have an IT department, they can upload their notices in an Excel spreadsheet right to our software. All of your tracking could be done online so we have to send them, just so you know, this is not something people understand, but almost every single state requires it to be sent by certified return receipt. And here you can track all of your mail. You can see the signatures. Now we have a new service, which is e-recording. So we can assist in e-recording, and that's basically it in a nutshell. So I know I tried to run through it because it could be it could be great material to fall asleep.
No, I think if you want to stop sharing so
Yeah.
we'll go back to the screen. And then we can just talk to everyone out here. So, but yeah, no, that's okay. We don't. Thank you, Maria, for that, by the way. You can show the dog. Show your dog.
Hello. You want to say hi to everyone, Ernie? Hi.
There you go.
I don't know what my mother is doing right now, but I'm going to drive her crazy.
So there you go. So that's great. No, that's awesome. Listen, the thing, this is real. We're in a real life scenario. So this is wonderful. I love it. Now, so let's go through the process really quickly for people who have questions. So again, if you're making an improvement because someone asked, is this for services? So if you're making an improvement to a property, right? Is this when this applies? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So if I really want all of the listeners and for your students, I think what's first most important is understanding what type of project. That's number one. What type of project are you working on? Are you working on a state, city, county, or federal? So that's public. Or are you working on a private project, which is residential or commercial? And then once you know that, you want to ask yourself, you ask, where am I on the payment food chain?
Okay.
Am I contracted with a sub of a sub? Or am I contracted with the general contractor holding a bond? Does my subcontractor, is he required or she required to carry a bond as well? Now, again, for federal projects, you're only the general contractor, very straight. It's so straightforward.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
General contractor, $100,000 or more, it has to be bonded, full stop. What is the process? It's simple. You do not need to send a preliminary notice, whether you're in California, Florida, Texas, it does not matter. New York, New Jersey. All you need to do is send a Miller Act notice, 90 days. His little tail is wagging. It's not entertaining. It's actually humiliating. Oh, and this is what you get for having a rescue.
That's all right.
Are you done with your debut? Okay.
Okay. All right. No, listen, that's good stuff. So, the thing is, going back, so we make an improvement. And I think for me, the reason why we have companies like your service is because, look, we are good at our particular trade. We're good at our jobs. We let someone like, Ariela's company, Sunray Notices, handle that. Can we talk about, like, what does that cost me? Can we talk about money, or is it not?
Oh, yeah. Remember, no question.
No, because I want to know. Look, and I've done this before, by the way, just so everyone knows. I mean, I've done this. I've used their services, and I found it to be really nominal, the cost to do this services. So let's talk about, what is that?
Yeah, it's very economical.
Right.
It is $30 plus postage, which again, we went over in great.
Say it again. How much?
$30.
$30
plus postage.
Listen, wait, stop. $30 to protect yourself, to help you ensure that you're going to get paid on a project. 30. Did I not say it's nominal? Helps. 30. I'm going to type it in here. Maria, can you type in 30 in the chat?
It is definitely economical. If you're working on a project in a state that requires a preliminary notice, whether you use my service or any other company out there, you do it on your own. The question you have to ask yourself is, how much am I willing to lose? And I speak to people all the time, And, after you do this for 15 years and you're on the phone with a small business owner, like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. It's basically a 1-week job and it's at week 3 and they're complaining, I'm not getting paid. They're most likely not going to get paid.
Right.
Because he who sends his preliminary notices first get paid. It's a very smart business decision. It's not, there are some customers though, and they're 100% correct in doing this. You create a do not notice customer list.
Right.
If you have a remarkable relationship with your customer and you're a sub to a general contractor and you just have had that business relationship, fabulous. Because you don't want to upset the owner. But at the same time, what I was showing you before, what if the owner doesn't pay your remarkable customer? Sorry.
Right.
You agree? You agree? Yeah, I agree too.
Right. So wait, so it takes you 5 minutes to do it and it cost me $30.
60 seconds.
Okay,
Sounds
60
like
seconds
really...
and $30.
Yep, that's it.
You can't even order McDonald's that fast.
Nope.
And McDonald's is costing $30 these days.
The best French fries.
Thank you for revealing your secret online.
Yes.
I like that. Someone wrote, he who sends his preliminary notices first gets paid. Can you share with us an actual story of someone using your service and getting paid? Like, can you like some?
Yeah.
Without using any names.
I will. Yeah, I definitely don't want to give names.
Sure.
But I can tell you that a very, very, very large company had about $200 million on different houses and projects that they sent preliminary notices on. Okay.
200 million. Okay. Wait, Ariela. Now let me ask you something. If they had 200 million, you didn't charge them more than $30? Like I might have been like, look, you're gonna pay like $45. Okay.
We charge, we and that's actually something very interesting.
I'm teasing. But...
No. I think it's a great question. And I'm going to tell you the use case that actually occurred, and then I'll go into rates. So this company secured their lien rights. Okay. Thank God. Okay. There was the owner, the general contractor, and them. They secured their lien rights. The general contractor had to file for bankruptcy. And guess what? They had lien rights. And they got paid. I like the happy stories. I don't like the stories where, people, let me instill fear, but I guess I can give you a fear.
Put fear.
All right.
You know what? Fear is a greater motivator than opportunity to gain. I've been teaching that for 10 years. A lot of people, we could say, you could be a millionaire. No. They won't do it. But if they say that something harmful happened to your kid and you had to raise $1 million, they could do it.
I don't disagree with you. But that's an example of that. They, thank God, had an incredible process and they were able to get the money. Now, I could tell you that if we have another recession like we did in 2008,
that's right.
And a lot of people went out of business because they didn't secure their lien rights.
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
So just so everyone understands, a notice to owner and the lien, they're just great. First of all, there's nothing out there in the any other industry that has such an extraordinary collection tool. So utilize what we have, these incredible tools to get paid. Right. But on rates, I had actually a mentor once say to me, and I truly believe this: you charge fair rates. It's not ethical to go and charge people or have, these fees, and you go online and you find out that, this person just kind of lied to me, right. Or I think there's this huge savings, but there's zero savings at all. It's frankly, it's a lie. Right. On our website, we put no breathing fees because we don't charge for anything that's not a fair rate. Now, other businesses out there, they do whatever they want to do.
Right.
I am not them, but I want companies to have a trusted service that they could rely on with an extraordinary software, extraordinary team, and extraordinary customer service department.
I love it. I love that. A couple questions. Someone says, is a bond payment based on submission order?
Is a bond payment based on submission
So I
order?
think that going back to the example about sending the preliminary notices first gets paid, I guess they're using the same example on a bond. So for
Oh,
example,
okay.
yeah, does it make sense?
So, yeah. So you only send the bond claim if you're not paid.
Right.
And if, say, hypothetically, you send the bond claim and I send the bond claim, if they're asking whoever sends the bond claim first, they get
Right.
paid? Not necessarily.
Right. Okay.
But whoever sends their preliminary notice, I don't want to say first, the general contractor knows. I'll give you a terrible use case. Sounds like I'm about to tell you a joke, but it's really a true story. I was sitting at a bar and I met with
That's not like a joke.
right? Sitting at a bar.
Okay. Sitting
That's
at a
what we
bar.
do, in our industry, sit at bars.
Right. Okay.
And pre-COVID, and a very large general contractor and I were talking, and he said, Ariela, the people who send their notices first are the ones who get paid. So that's why I was expressing how important it is. And many general contractors, and also at the same time, remember something. If you're a sub to a sub, that GC doesn't know that you're on the property. Okay? Your truck can be out there. The project manager may even know you by name, but the credit and collections department doesn't work on the project. So you need to make sure you send your notices to owners if you have any doubts that you may not get paid, but put logical business practices together. A threshold, a do not notice customer list, making sure that you do have a contract, whether it's a verbal. You should have a written contract in place. So those are another 3 things you should. So 1, your contract. 2, send your preliminary notices with specific rules. Should document it. Get your credit and collections department in a brief 30 to 45-minute meeting. Don't make it, I wish that they just sent an email. Make it really a valuable meeting and develop your credit and collections process. And then, one sheet that maybe I'll also give you is a project information sheet so that customers can fill that out and they go, okay, well, I know who I need to put in all this information so I can give it to my credit and collections department. So we know who we need to send this notice to.
Right. You have an example of that?
While we speak, I'll try to look.
Yeah, you can pull it up or send it to me and I can drop it in the chat later on.
Absolutely.
I can put a link to it.
Absolutely.
Someone asked a question. Can a sub to a prime on a U.S. military contract file a lien on the prime?
Okay, so I almost want to ask this question back. Can you?
There you go.
And I don't know if anyone's answered yet.
Well, it says lag, so you won't get an answer.
Okay, so the answer is, of course not. No, under no circumstances can you ever lien a federal or a state, city, county project. No, and no.
So again,
Ryan, that's what the purpose of the bond is for.
Right. So Ryan, like she said earlier, that's why they have a bond on this particular on those projects over $100,000. That's why they have bonds. Someone also says, okay, so in the bankruptcy case, they had to have the lien rights in before the bankruptcy was filed. I don't think so. Ariela?
They had to send their preliminary notices and their liens.
Right.
And that was something that was worked out with the courts.
Okay.
So, but they definitely had to they definitely had to send their preliminary notices, which again, whether you're in Florida, I'm going to use in the state of Florida, their notices to owners / notices to contractors within a specified period of time to secure their lien rights. And that was an example of, if they didn't do that, they never would have had lien rights. They never would have been able to really collect.
Right.
Now they've secured their lien rights. The
Right,
owners
right.
knew that they were on the property.
Right. Right. Brian also says at some level, it sounds like this is just a professional thing to do. I would agree with that, Brian. I think if you make it part of your business process, your SOP, just something that you do on your projects. Would you agree with that, Ariela?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would think, Brian, like you said, it's not even something you think about. You're awarded a project, you follow this protocol, and then that's it. You go from there. You don't even think about it because again, how do you know, or how can any one of us know which project is going to, there's not going to be an issue on it with payment. We have no way of telling. So,
Consider it economical insurance to get paid.
right. That's a good way. Yeah.
You're securing your lien and bond claim rights. Yeah.
Right.
But
Right. Has there ever been a case where sending a notice has made a bad impression or left a bad taste in someone's mouth?
that's an amazing question.
That's from Mark.
I love that question. We have a website, we have a YouTube station, and on our YouTube station, we have this fabulous video of a homeowner receiving a notice that I'll definitely send in the chat box. So you
Send
can,
it, because what I can do is I can actually, right now while we're talking, not now, but I mean, like during this moment in time, I can put it in and link to that video that they can go over to your station and watch. So again, you can do it after the fact.
yeah, okay, perfect. I'll definitely get that
Yeah.
for
So you owe me two things.
Going back, we have a website.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was me. My
Okay.
apologies. Obviously it was me. It sounds like me. I can't blame Ernie. He doesn't know how to speak there, and I don't have a parrot in the room. So, all right, he's gonna go out. So let's go over Mark's question. That is why people don't send, for the most part. It's not just because it's they're lazy, or someone doesn't want to send a notice to owner because they are, it's $30 plus postage. Another reason is they're worried that they're going to upset their customer or the owner of the property.
Okay.
So it's a great question. However, and again, I go back to this. I'm not, at this stage of my business career, you want to be fair to your business, but you want to also be fair to the customer and say, okay, well, what happens if, so if the GC hires a subcontractor and the subcontractor hires a sub, and the GC does go belly up, who are you going, and you're a sub to the sub? I'm so sorry, you lost your money.
Right.
So I don't feel badly for you if you know this information.
Right.
Why didn't you send it? Because you didn't want to be offensive? That's it. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah, I think it's prudent business, and like Brian just mentioned in the chat, if someone, if they become disturbed by that or upset by that, that might be some good indications of there were some issues coming along the line that you didn't see. So I would always do that myself. But that's I like what you just said, Ariel.
It's customary business practice.
Right.
If I owned a drywall company and I was hired 9 out of 10 times by a GC or a subcontractor, there is no way that I would not send notices to owners. I would do it on every single project over a certain dollar value.
Right.
Relationship or no relationship. Because again, it does not really, it's not dependent on the general contractor. The owner may not pay the GC, and you only have that window of time in the state of Florida to send your notices to owners. Other states, there's some differences. Like in California, you send a 20-day notice. You have to send your preliminary notices 20 days from first furnishing. But if you miss your 20 days and you're still on the project, you could secure your lien rights for the 20 days so if you're on the project for 40 days, that example, 20 days you missed, the next 20 days, you could secure your lien rights for.
Um, Someone else has a question, which I never thought about this. What happens if the equity of the property does not cover the lien?
The equity of the property doesn't. Okay, that is a very good question.
Okay.
Um, and so say you lien the property and then and they foreclose on the property.
Yeah, I guess that's what I don't know. I'm just trying to decide. That's the only thing that was written. So I would be extrapolating from moving forward. Whatever your best guess is.
Okay, so if we lien the property and it's a lien for $200,000 and the mortgage company has actually has so his example or her example is $215,000. That is a fabulous question. And I would want to make sure I speak with an attorney. So let's definitely put that question maybe in a document and I can have that
Okay.
answered
All right.
properly.
So then what we'll do is, Brian, why don't you go ahead and send me that question via email, and then I'll forward it over to Ariela, and she can get that answered.
I want to
Get
give a correct answer. I don't want to give inaccurate information, but I will get that answer.
I think that's one of those, hey, they're just throwing out a scenario, but I would, they're just throwing out a scenario. I mean, and again, I think that's it is in a scenario. So, oh, my video went out. Okay, all right, Ariela. So we were talking beforehand. I don't know what happened to my video. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you now, by the way.
All right, good. Okay, all right, good. We were talking beforehand, and I did want to kind of circle back to a little bit more about your story. Well, first of all, if anyone else has any questions, drop them in there and I'll keep answering questions. But I think the questions are over. I want to talk some more about Ariela's story. No, I like, we have a lot of women-owned small businesses, women entrepreneurs. And someone asked earlier, let me go back to that question. Dun, dun, dun. It was early when we were talking about your personal journey.
Maybe Maria. Was it?
Okay, it was Mark. He said, one of my co-founders is a young woman. She's amazing. Our company does construction and debris removal in the South. My question is, how often have you seen women discriminated against in the field? But you're not in the field.
I'm not in the field. And so it's not fair for me to answer that question
Right.
but I am on a day-to-day basis speaking with, I'm going to assume the discrimination may come to this young lady from men. Is that an accurate statement?
That's the question, it seems like.
Okay.
They're asking, I guess the person is asking, what can they anticipate potentially happening as a co-founder of a debris and removal construction company?
I think that what's essential for all human beings, not just women, not just women with curly brown hair, not just for Black women or men, I think that all people are judged for something. So they're going to judge you if you're a female. They're going to judge you if you have a lisp. You'll be judged in general. So just that's how I see it. You have to either be weak. You have your choice to be weak or strong. And whether you're a man or a woman, I still think you need to prove yourself. And sometimes there are others out there that you need to prove yourself to. And there are some of the, as one will say, they're haters. They're in the minority. But most people, once you prove yourself, I have a customer now. It took me years to get his business, years. And he goes, you were persistent enough to earn my business. So sometimes, you just have to be who you are. You have to be a good person. Don't ever get angry. And I can tell you right now, whoo, have I had my moments. I wish there was a potion to make that disappear. but just realize that, I tell my staff almost every single meeting, if someone treats you like crap, you are not special. They treat everyone like crap. So going back to the young lady, it's something she needs to hold her head up high. She needs to be proud of who she is and march forward.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, yeah, I like that part. If someone treats you like crap, you're not special, right? They're treating other people like crap. That's very good. How were you personally able to handle it? I know some people do meditation, some people exercise, cycling, tennis. Like, when people were treating you like crap, how did you hold your head up high?
I went through some very serious litigation
Okay.
for years, and I had 1 week, nearly a week, where I actually had to sleep in my office. It was horrible to
Mm.
keep everything intact. I had to work hard. Um, I remember the maintenance guy. He told me I was like in a fetal position, sleeping on the floor, and he almost tripped over me one night. I have stories, but I'm grateful for those stories. It wasn't handed to me on a silver platter, that's for sure. And the question that is, how do I handle it? I run, and I have a Peloton, and no, I'm not giving out my name because one of my really good friends is like extraordinary, and I had to delete him because he's just so good. I can't compete against him. I'm very competitive.
Uh-huh.
But above all, um, it was when I would leave my office and the sun was setting, and I would see the sunset, and it was God kind of whispering to me, the sun is going to rise, the sun is going to set. Look at my beauty. And I remember as I smile, driving home and looking at the sunsets and going, there's a higher power. I'm going to get through this. And I will do incredible things with my business once this is over. And so I think that it's not just working out, it's a higher power. And
Faith.
and I don't mean to ever offend anyone by saying that. I think that there's a higher power and we have to, I believe in that higher power. I call him God. And that's how I got through it.
So you had faith that it would work out.
I had faith. Now, that's not to say I didn't have my moments with
Self doubt.
my friend Bacardi and my friend Pinot Noir.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
I probably had a little, some people were, that was my form of at times self-medication.
Mhm.
But the truth that kept it going was for me, the higher power, looking at the sunsets, taking a moment to be in nature. That's powerful for me. That may not be
Mm.
powerful for someone else, but
No, right,
try to
absolutely.
get yourself out of a situation. Don't, take that moment that if it's even an hour, no computer, no phone, no technology, and regroup with yourself. Yeah, you go for a run, but God is always with you after in your situation in your head. So yeah, 30 minutes stress, but you said that anyways. I think I hate the expression beat a dead horse, but I think I've done that with that question.
How did you know in your business when you were making, like, if whether you're making the right decision or the wrong decision? How did you know that, right? Because you're growing this business, you're building this business. How do you know if you're making the right decision or not, right? And the reason why I asked, we have a lot of new business owners, solopreneurs, mom and pop businesses, right, that are getting started, and they're not sure what's the right decision, right? You don't have a lot of resources. You don't know, do I invest in this thing? Do I invest in that thing? Right? So how did you know when you were making the right decisions?
Well, first, I think you have to, the first thing is process. Okay. How do I make a decision? What is your process in making the decision? So, okay, I'm going to invest in this. Why? Why are you investing in it? What's the purpose? If you have $50,000, what is it that, what if you're going to invest $50,000 into a project? Why? Why are you doing that? And I think writing down again the process, the decision making, the return on the investment. If it does go really, really bad, can you live with the really, really, really bad? So I think that what's important is an example. So if you have a new entrepreneur, and primarily on federal projects, this is
no, just entrepreneurship. Forget federal.
first, okay,
Just
federal.
we're just talking
Okay.
entrepreneurship now. We're over the federal stuff. We're talking
Okay.
entrepreneurship
I
now.
think that it's how are you setting up your company? You know, when people go, oh, I'm working so hard.
Yes, right.
Boo hoo. Well, then go work. I don't know, as a ticket collector, my father would say. Like, not to put a position down in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I don't even think the position exists anymore because we have barcodes. So you don't even need to take tickets. So if you're working hard, are you working smart? Because if you make, you're gonna make mistakes. You're going to make egregious mistakes, as I have. I could say the biggest mistake you will never be able to take back. And this goes out to everyone. And I wish I didn't do it. You can never take back your words to a loved one if you're stressed. That's number one. You cannot take back actions. So if you were stressed out and you did something inappropriate, if you were stressed out and you made a poor decision based on a knee-jerk reaction, those are things. So what you want to remember is, and those are mistakes, and some of us can learn from others, and some of us can actually unfortunately, I'm one of those who didn't learn from others. I had to go through it. So you really want to be very, very, very cautious on when you're stressed out. Put yourself in a room if you have to and shut the door. I joked around. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to become a werewolf right now. I need to close my door. I need to just calm down, because it's just in a millisecond that a major, whether it's something that comes out of your mouth, I think these are the mistakes. You hire the wrong person because you're in a rush. In that millisecond, you make that mistake. I wish I can coin something about the millisecond thought process, because if you just take literally that millisecond to just go, you probably won't do that bad thing. And you know something? We have something called an intuition. Mm-hmm. We have a soul. Mm-hmm. That's what I think it is. It's your soul. Nothing. That's your soul. And your soul says to you, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right. And you're like, no, I'm going to forge ahead, full steam ahead. And your soul is like, no, please don't. Please, I beg you, don't do this. Right. And you're like, no. So I can tell you that you're going to make mistakes. But like I said in the very beginning, you fall 7 times, you get up 8. But you can't take back with your loved ones, with your employees, with people who you've never met before. You can never take back your words or your actions. When all this is, said and done, mm-hmm. My father, may he rest in peace, his anniversary of his death is this month. And he's been gone for 7 years. 7 years. And sadly, some of the people who are listening have lost loved ones. If not all of us have lost a loved one at this stage of our lives. Right. And the point I want to make is 7 years. It's been so long. What was his life was summed up in his eulogy, which was about 90 minutes long.
Mm.
So when you think about your life, you should also think about that dash in between the 2 years that you're born and you pass. And this is not to go dark. This is actually so that your life is lived in the best way you can live it each and every day. So going back to what are the mistakes? What do? You're going to make mistakes. I have no idea, but certainly put together an intelligent plan if you're making a business decision. And if you don't know what you're doing, ask an intelligent person. My other great quote, or I think it's great, but you might think it's terrible.
No.
If you ask an idiot their opinion, you're going to get an idiot's response. If you ask an intelligent person their opinion, you're going to get an intelligent response. Just like if you want to hear, oh, you look great, it's like you can ask, I don't know, maybe someone's mother or father, how do I look today? You
Right.
look awful. Some parents are very honest.
Right.
Some parents are like, oh, you look great.
Oh, you look great.
Yeah, but you want
Right.
to ask, and you want to ask, if you're going to ask, if you don't know the answers to something, don't make the decision on your own. Ask intelligent people, but live life, and don't live in a fear, because I don't know how many of us, we wake up every morning. I had COVID and I ended up going to the hospital,
Mm.
and a lot of transformation and things happen. I have asthma. And let me tell you something, when you have COVID and you can't breathe, it's beyond frightening. Again, many people have it much worse. I mean, they had oxygen tanks. I didn't have that, thank God. But life is short. You don't know. We know our estimated arrival date. Okay? We
Mhm.
don't know. We don't know when we're leaving planet Earth.
Mhm.
So make the most of it and stop having that fear. You gave the example of, boy, if a parent had to find that money, they'd find that money.
Mhm.
So what happens if, tomorrow,
Right.
and you didn't do what you wanted to do, and you'll never be able to do it again? So don't have that fear. Don't let anyone hold you down, but it's really, don't hold yourself down.
Right. More than anything else. I like it.
So
Wow, you got no, that's very powerful words, extraordinary. I could feel the passion, I could feel the energy. That's where it's it's so true though that we are very easily discouraged. And I think going back to the statement of the idiot, I think that we are discouraged a lot of times by asking questions to those persons who are not necessarily the experts in their field of work, their field of study. And someone could have gotten this knowledge that we gave today for free on our channel, spent the $30 and saved, tens of thousands of dollars in potential loss. Um, but you have to seek out the information. You have to be willing to be a student, to learn. But I think again, like I said, I like that, not having fear stop you. I think fear is it's so powerful. It's so debilitating also at the same time.
it's
A lot of people.
debilitating if you allow it to
Right.
do that. I think, we're very, very blessed to be in the United States. You can
Yes.
start from nothing and become something.
Right.
But I go back to, life is very precious, very short. More important than securing your lien and bond claim rights is loving the people around you, showing them that, and being very careful, because at the end of our existence, It's what's going to be said about you. No one's going to say, Ariela, maybe you might come and I'll put down, you've got to have him speak about the $30 notice if this company still exists, because he is my greatest salesman ever. But
That's right.
you're my man there. But
Uh-huh.
it's again, it's making sure that when you wake up in the morning, you have, thank you, God, for giving me life. And thank you for giving me whatever I have. Not looking at the next big thing and wanting that next, because you get lost. It's like it's focus.
Right.
Focus on what you have at hand. Focus on
Sure.
the one thing that you must work on for that day to get it done. And it doesn't matter if it takes you an extra 4 hours to get it done. It's your time that it takes for you. It might take someone else less time. My favorite quote is by Einstein, and he said that, I'm not going to ruin it. So let me get this quote.
All right, pull it
Someone
up.
asking a question. I don't know if someone, okay. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing that it is stupid.
I identify with that quote personally,
And why do you
um,
identify with it?
because when I was doing construction and there were bad people taking advantage of me, they tried to make me feel like I didn't have any value, and because they were bigger, their organization was bigger, they had more people, and that they knew what they're talking about because they were, they had been around longer, they had engineers, they had all these people working for them, and so they, in every way, they, for someone who was not such a, I say strong versus weak, but someone else who would have given up or quit would not be here today standing in front of you, who said, let me use my knowledge and my expertise to train thousands of people on how to do this. And so I took what, again, other people did not value, right? And they did not, they tried to play down my knowledge and my expertise. I found my footing and my place, right? I was, like you said, trying to be a fish out of water. I found my ocean. And so now here I'm in my perfect space. And like I said, like someone said today, this is my jam. This is my jam, coming on here and sharing my story, sharing the stories of others, encouraging entrepreneurs, encouraging small businesses, um, and the like. And so, again, I'm constantly learning, reading, and studying, which I did anyways. But now I get to share what I learned and my thoughts and my ideas and my concepts with the world.
It's absolutely wonderful. And you
And
know
I
what?
enjoy
I'm
it.
sure you have some challenging days.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
shouldn't
No.
it shouldn't last if you're in pain
Mhm.
with your business, the pain shouldn't last more than 6 months. It shouldn't be painful. Love, for
Right.
example, should not be painful, right?
Right.
It shouldn't be pain. You shouldn't be in pain when you're building your business. Yes, you're going to have some trials and tribulations. I went through things that were just massive, massive mistakes, but it shouldn't be painful. So
You
that's, yeah.
Something, and I'm going to let you go, but I wanted you shared something. You talked about working hard. You know, I always ask my guests on my show, at what age did you start working, and tell us about a job that you had. When did you start working?
I started working right when I turned 13
Uh huh.
at a coffee shop,
Uh huh.
not a coffee shop, a deli,
Okay.
pouring
Deli.
coffee. And
Okay.
I poured coffee on Sundays.
Uh huh.
And I was so excited because I could make $50 pouring coffee. in this little deli in Boca that's no longer exists, unfortunately. It was a fabulous opportunity to get my feet wet in business. Um, it's you really see human nature when someone's hungry.
Wow.
Give
So you've
that
been
family
working.
food right now.
And you make $50 a day.
$50 on a Sunday.
Okay. As
Yeah,
tips.
pouring water and coffee. And let me tell you, uh, hot coffee
Uh-huh.
and 13 years old, I was petrified of spilling it, especially when the person
Sure.
would keep going, you're gonna spill it on me. You're gonna spill it on me. I'm like, no, I'm not, but you keep telling me you're gonna
Uh-huh.
will it to happen. But yeah,
Right.
that was my first job. And I worked from 12. I went to all the way through high school. I worked a little in college. I always worked very hard. Hard work doesn't kill you. Stress kills you.
Mm.
Hard work is beautiful. Hard
Yeah.
work is wonderful. I started working at 6:30 this morning. It's 7:31. Ernie needs to go to the bathroom. I mean, I working is when you're blessed to get
Right.
up, go to
Right.
a job and have some type of meaning in your life.
Yes.
And remember
Yes.
the people, like it's really incredible.
Right.
You have no idea how you impact people on a daily basis.
Sure.
Even if you're having a really, 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 really bad day, whether it's even holding the door. My biggest one is when you're driving. If most of our employees are working remotely, but we do
Okay.
have a few that work in the office. If you're driving and you see someone's indicator and they're trying to get in a lane, it's the morning or whenever it is. I guarantee you, if you count the amount of seconds that you just let that person in,
Uh-huh.
and you've made them a little bit less stressed.
Mm.
You make that person a little less stressed, and
Mm.
imagine what the rest of their day is going to be. Oh, thank God I got in. And maybe they don't say thank you very much, but it's acts of kindness. Acts of kindness are really important. And you have the power to do that.
We all do. And it costs nothing.
Absolutely.
Ariela, thank you so much.
I hope you have an incredible rest of your week. And thank
No,
you again for this wonderful opportunity.
no, I love it. I love it. Hey, listen, everyone, before Ariela goes, can we give Area, in the chat, just drop some smiley faces, salutes, give her a thumbs up, give her a hug, tell her thank you. We're gonna sign off. We gotta let Ernie go walk, use the bathroom. I don't want to look, I really appreciate it. This has been great. Oh, by the way, Ariela, Tiago, tell us where you're at. I want Ariela to hear. Tiago, tell us where you're at. And everyone else, give Ariel a thumbs up, give her a hug, put a smiley face, drop an emoji in the lines for that.
And lots of hugs and
and
kisses
for
to
everyone,
everyone
and
too.
for everyone, in fact, for everyone that even stayed on, I'm gonna drop this in. Hold on, Ariel. For the people that made it to the end, I did this the other day. I'm gonna give everyone that made it to the end, I'm gonna give you a gift from me today. Okay. I'm gonna start doing this more often and start rewarding my people who make it to the end of my videos. So let me drop this in real quick. My Evernote's loading. Errol, you see all those claps and hugs and you see those
That's a lot of
handshakes?
love.
Look at that. Look at that. And by the way, listen, believe it or not, she was nervous to come on today. So when you all think that you can't do something, okay, when you're doubting that you could do something, and she overcame her fears of going live today to be on with us. So I think that deserves a thumbs up. And hold
Thank
on.
you. Well, you made me feel very comfortable, so it was very easy.
No, that's great.
So
That's
thank you.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm dropping you something. Stay with me for a couple more minutes. I'm gonna drop you a link to our new. We just created this. Here it is. Give me 2 seconds. I want Maria, someone who's still on. Can you check this link and make sure it's working? All right. All my people who stayed with me. Johnny's, come on. Oh, here we go. All right. If you find on that link, we just created all new action plan journal, and I'm testing out. So click the link, download that action plan journal, and let me know. Give me your feedback on it. Maria, can you check the link and make sure it works, please? Everyone else, Bernie, I just sent it to you today. I sent it to Mark today. Jesse Forte, I sent it to you as well. So for all the people that made it, click the link, download the action plan journal that we're working on. Give me your feedback and let me know what you think. Thank you guys. Make sure give us a thumbs up and a like. You know, show her some love. I know this session did not apply to everyone, so we didn't get the participation we normally get, but that's okay. For those of you who did sit in and listen, make sure that you share this with those that need to hear it. You pulled it up, Marty. Good job. Maria, good job. So for all of you who did stay to the end, that's your special gift today. Ariela, thank you so much. We will continue the conversation. We'll keep talking. All right. So we have our each other's information. So let's keep it going. And let's not let it be another 3 years.
Thank you again. Really an honor. And
No. Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. This is information that needs to be shared with a lot of people. And if I have a chance, I built a platform where I can share it. Then it makes sense to do. So,
absolutely wonderful.
no,
Well, thanks
so
again.
thanks, Ariela.